you had a Pitbull at a conference that you helped organize in Miami, right? A long time ago. So
yes.
Mr. 305. So
2013.
why don't we talk about, let's talk about that.
We were ahead of the curve. Yeah, no, it's funny. One of my first work experiences out of college was working for a startup called Techweek, and we put on tech conferences all around the U.S. and kind of focusing on emerging innovation ecosystems. So the company was founded in Chicago, and at the time, and still, great emerging innovation ecosystem in Chicago, and went from Chicago to Detroit to LA to New York to kind of everywhere that wasn't San Francisco. And I think it was the 8th conference we had. We did Tech Week Miami, and this was 2013. And it was such an incredible experience. I was, 21 at the time, and I lived in Miami for 3 months and helped organize this tech conference. And it was funny at the time, the mayor of Miami at the time actually came out and said, like, it's silly that there's a Tech Week Miami. Like, Miami is a tourism city. It's not a tech city. Like, who are these people hosting this Tech Week? Like, this is ridiculous.
Suarez is smiling right now.
I want to find this article because I distinctly remember an article where he was quoted, like, why is there a Miami Tech Week?
Yeah.
And it was called Miami Tech Week. And of course we had a big Miami Tech Week last week. And it was hosted with this other group, eMerge Americas. So anyway, I was dropped into Miami, and I was working with a bunch of people who were, older and more experienced event organizers than myself. But even then, what was so cool was, it really was capturing Latin American entrepreneurship. And so we had entrepreneurs coming in from, across Latin America and Southern America to this conference. And it was really clear that there was just such a strong entrepreneurial spirit down there. And it actually, I think, was of, these first 8 conferences we had, probably the one where I felt the energy the most.
Oh, yeah.
And so you mentioned we had, I can't claim credit for this. There were, people that had relationships and pulled strings, but we got Pitbull to come and talk. And, we had eight events, or I think by the time I'd left, we'd done 10 events. And look, some really big names, that came and talked at Tech Week. Like, we had Travis Kalanick come and talk. And I got to tell you, Pitbull was actually the best speaker we ever had. He was incredible. And I mean, genuinely insightful and interesting, and telling stories about how he'd negotiated deals with Bud Light to get equity in the company, and how he thinks about building brands and building audiences, and even talking about community, like, ahead of his time. And the quote I'll never forget is, he's like, people think they're like dunking on me when they talk about how I'm a bad rapper, but like, I don't care at all about being a good rapper. I just want to be the best businessman in the world. Like, that's my goal.
I love it.
It's like, I love that you know what you're trying to do here. So anyway, it was a very fun conference, great energy, and it is crazy to see, 8 years later, it's back and coming full circle, and without a doubt, there's something exciting and real happening in Miami.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Pitbull, because as a business guy, because his music is nice. There is a moment where it does kind of like brings that joy of a group and a rowdy crowd, etc. But if you really think about it, right, like, this is a very, very successful guy that is not really like good looking, very short and bald. And he still made it, right? And that's a great example for amazing determination. I have a lot of admiration for him, in the sense that he certainly he lives the most authentic life that he can possibly live, and that for me, that's success, But I would say, though, I've been to one of the eMerges, and way back when, and I do believe that energy existed, but the LATAM venture capital scene that we have today is very different than the one that we've had at that time. So whatever founder that was going to a conference in Miami for tech and then you'd had these businesses that were totally random, right? Oh yeah, we're doing digital transformation of something like Nicaragua, or we're doing this for Mexico, and like the companies were not good. Like I remember when I met them, and frankly, like it for me, it always felt like basically almost like fake founders that were just from wealthy families in Latin America, and they had their apartments in Miami. Because if you're really rich in LATAM, instead of going to the beach in your local country, you go to Miami. And then because of that, they also happen to be able to sustain themselves financially to then start a startup. But then in their mind, coming to the US is coming to Miami versus coming to San Francisco. 7 years ago, like that's a very incorrect logic, right? You want to play at the NBA where, we played. And
it's funny.
Yeah.
So many of the entrepreneurs that I met in 2013 in Miami ended up moving to the SF and working in SF over the last 8 years. And I imagine many of them are moving back to Miami now. So it's kind of funny how it came full circle. Like
I love it.
It did, I can think of two in my mind who were, entrepreneurs I met in 2014 and kept in touch with. And they tried and built something in Latin America, exited modest, and moved on to SF, and worked at breakout SF tech companies, and they're now probably likely to start companies soon and go back to whatever ecosystems that they're most excited about building in. And I think for a lot of them it probably is going to be Latin America and Miami. I mean, I think there's also so much activity happening in Latin America right now with fintech. You just see, economies being rebuilt as mobile-first economies, and leapfrog opportunities to build financial products and financial services that are, I think, going to be incredibly powerful, disruptive forces for good in Latin America.
Perfect. Yes.